Most clinicians are trained to intubate only when the vocal cords are visible, but real airways bleed, swell, and disappear. In this video, I'll walk you step by step through 5 real intubation techniques, from the one every clinician learns to the one almost nobody practices, but becomes priceless when everything else fails. Stay till the end, because the last technique doesn't even require seeing the airway. We start with direct laryngoscopy. This is the technique every clinician learns first, and the one every other airway technique is built on. Direct laryngoscopy is simple in concept. You align the airway axis and directly visualize the vocal cords with your own eyes. No camera, no screen, just anatomy. Before the blade ever goes in, positioning matters. Place the patient in the sniffing position. The neck is flexed. The head is extended. The goal is to align the oral, pharyngeal, and laryngeal axes. Hold the laryngoscope in your left hand. Insert the blade from the right side of the mouth. As you advance, sweep the tongue gently to the left. Continue advancing until you identify the epiglottis. This is your key landmark. If you don't find the epiglottis, everything else becomes guesswork. Once the epiglottis is identified, lift the laryngoscope upward and forward. Do not rock back on the teeth. You are lifting the mandible, not prying open the mouth. As you lift, the vocal cords should come into view. When you see them, pause. This is where many intubations fail because of rushing. Advance the endotracheal tube under direct vision. Pass it smoothly through the vocal cords. Stop once the cuff has just passed beyond the cords. Inflate the cuff. Ventilate the patient. Confirm placement using chest rise, auscultation, and end tidal CO2. Direct laryngoscopy matters because it teaches true airway anatomy. If you can't intubate with direct laryngoscopy, you don't fully understand the airway. And when blood, secretions, or equipment failure take away your screen, this is the technique that still works. But direct laryngoscopy depends on one critical assumption: that you can see the vocal cords. So what happens when you can't? Video laryngoscopy approaches the airway differently. The goal is still the same, but the physics change. Instead of aligning airway axes, video laryngoscopy uses a camera to look around anatomical curves. You are no longer relying on a direct line of sight. You are relying on optics. Position the patient as you would for direct laryngoscopy. Good positioning still matters, even though the camera helps. Hold the video laryngoscope in your left hand. Insert the blade gently in the midline of the mouth. There is less need to aggressively sweep the tongue. Advance slowly while watching the screen. As the blade moves forward, identify familiar landmarks. First the tongue, then the epiglottis, then the vocal cords appearing on the monitor. Once the cords are clearly visible on the screen, stop advancing the blade. More depth rarely improves the view. Now comes the part that surprises most people. Seeing the cords is no longer the hardest step. Delivering the tube is... Advance the endotracheal tube while watching the patient's mouth, not the screen. This prevents dental injury and soft tissue trauma. As the tube approaches the cords, shift your gaze back to the screen. Guide the tube through the vocal cords using small, controlled movements. Once the tube passes the cords, advance it until the cuff is just beyond them. Inflate the cuff. Ventilate the patient. Confirm placement with chest rise, auscultation, and end tidal CO2. Video laryngoscopy improves visualization, especially in difficult airways. But it introduces a new challenge. Hand-eye coordination becomes critical. A perfect view does not guarantee a successful intubation. Technique still matters. And when blood, fog, or secretions obscure the camera, this approach can quickly fail. Which brings us to the moment when seeing the airway is no longer possible at all. Sometimes intubation fails. Not because of poor technique, but because the airway itself becomes impossible. When you cannot intubate and you cannot ventilate, there is no more time to troubleshoot. Oxygen is falling, and the airway must be bypassed. This is where the surgical airway comes in. Begin by identifying the landmarks on the neck. Feel for the thyroid cartilage. Move downward until you reach the soft depression of the cricothyroid membrane. If anatomy is unclear, make a vertical skin incision. This exposes the structures and gives you room to work. Once the membrane is identified, make a horizontal incision through it. Air movement may be felt or heard at this point. Dilate the opening using your finger or a dilator. Keep the tract open. Insert the tracheostomy tube or endotracheal tube through the opening and into the trachea. Advance it just far enough to seat the cuff. Inflate the cuff. Ventilate the patient. Confirm placement with chest rise and end tidal, CO2. This technique is not elegant. It is decisive. A surgical airway is not a failure of skill. It is the final step of airway management when all other options have been exhausted. Every airway algorithm ends here. The only question is whether the decision is made early enough. Once the airway is secured surgically, the priority shifts from access to oxygenation. But what if the airway cannot be visualized, yet there is still time to avoid cutting the neck? Retrograde intubation is used when the upper airway cannot be visualized, but the trachea is still accessible. This technique does not start from the mouth. It starts from the neck. Begin by identifying the cricothyroid membrane. Clean the area and stabilize the larynx. Insert a needle through the cricothyroid membrane into the trachea. Confirm you are intratracheal by aspirating air. Through this needle, advance a guide wire upward toward the head. The wire travels from the trachea toward the pharynx. Watch the mouth and nose closely. As the wire advances, it will appear either in the oral cavity or through the nose. Once the wire is visible, grasp it securely and hold it in place. The wire now defines the path of the airway. Thread the endotracheal tube over the wire. Advance the tube gently along the wire, guiding it down toward the trachea. As the tube enters the airway, continue advancing until the cuff has passed into the trachea. Then remove the guide wire completely. Inflate the cuff. Ventilate the patient. Confirm placement with chest rise and end, tidal CO2. Retrograde intubation works without direct visualization of the vocal cords. It relies on anatomy and direction rather than vision. This technique requires time and patience. But when the upper airway is distorted and visualization is impossible, it can be life-saving. And when even vision and anatomy fail, there is still one technique left that does not rely on seeing the airway at all. This final technique works when seeing the airway is no longer possible. Lightwand intubation does not rely on visualizing the vocal cords. It relies on transillumination. Begin by assembling the light wand inside the endotracheal tube. Shape the tube into a gentle hockey stick curve. The bend should be just proximal to the cuff. Reduce ambient lighting if possible. This makes transillumination easier to interpret. Position the patient with the head in a neutral or slightly extended position. Open the mouth and insert the tube in the midline, following the contour of the tongue. Advance slowly and deliberately. Do not force the tube. As the tube advances, observe the anterior neck. A bright, well-defined glow appearing just below the thyroid cartilage indicates tracheal placement. If the glow is faint, diffuse, or spread across the neck, the tube is likely in the esophagus. Withdraw slightly and redirect. When a sharp, focused glow is seen in the midline of the neck, advance the tube smoothly into the trachea. Once the tube is in position, remove the light wand. Inflate the cuff. Ventilate the patient. Confirm placement using chest rise, auscultation, and end tidal CO2. Lightwand intubation works without a camera. It works without visualizing the vocal cords. It works when blood, secretions, or anatomy make everything else fail. This technique replaces vision with physics. Instead of seeing the airway, you interpret light. If you understand anatomy and respect the glow, the airway reveals itself. This is why Lightwand intubation becomes priceless when nothing else works. If this video expanded how you think about the airway, Take it further with E-Pulsepoints, available on the Google Play Store. Link in the description.